And we got Chad Peters, followed by Evergold. And then we got our closing keynote by Chris Taylor, the president and CEO of Great Bear Resources. He's not going to present about Great Bear Resources, but he's going to give some insights or share some insights into the junior mining market, which are going to be really interesting. Now, over to you, Chad. How are you?
Me again. So I'm Chad Peters, president and CEO of Ridgeline Minerals. And I have 15 quick minutes to tell you why I think we're an exciting junior story in Nevada. So get started. We got the cautionary statement. So why invest in Ridgeline Minerals? We are a Nevada-focused gold explorer with a 116 square kilometer exploration portfolio across 3 projects in the Carlin and Battle Mountain Eureka trends. So this is a very large land position for a junior in Nevada. We have a management team that is firmly aligned with its shareholders. I personally co-founded the company alongside the owner of a drilling company. And that, I think, gives us a bit of a unique edge, competitive edge to our peers, if you want to call it that. It means we get guaranteed access to RC drill rigs, no matter what the gold market looks like, and a 50,000-foot drill contract at a 60% discount to market rate. So this increases our odds of making a discovery early in the exploration cycle. We can put more drill steel in the ground with every dollar than our competitors. So we like to think it's an exciting advantage for the company. We're drilling 6,000 meters across 2 of our 3 projects this year. And as I mentioned before, we have a strong team backing this whole thing. So collectively, our team has found over 20 million ounces of gold in Nevada over the last 30 years. And I'm the largest individual shareholder in the company at just under 8%. So when I co-founded the company, I started out of my garage, which my wife really wasn't a fan of because she couldn't park in the garage anymore. But I was able to go without a salary for 14 months to get the company up and going. And then I put $150,000 of my own cash into every single financing we've done. So collectively, our team owns 17%. And we're just really motivated to make this thing a success. So we'll get into our team a little bit more. Myself and Mike Harp actually live in Nevada, and collectively between Gold Standard Ventures and Premier Gold Mines, which is where we previously worked, we've been a part of over 7 million ounces of discovery in Nevada over the last 6-7 years. So this is our backyard. We live down here, and we're really excited about what we're doing now with Ridgeline. We've surrounded ourselves with a great team. As I mentioned, Louis Teal before, he's an independent director. He's the technical lead for our team. He spent 35 years with Newmont Gold. So found a lot of gold in Nevada as well as South America, and we got a great team to rely on. We're actually adding Peter Hardy of Equinox Gold as an independent director starting in October. So I really think it speaks to the caliber of the team that we're attracting to Ridgeline. So their capital structure. We have a cash position of about 5.5 million Canadian as of the end of August. 48 million shares outstanding post-IPO, which was completed in August. We raised 5 million at 45 cents on that IPO, and that was heavily oversubscribed. We actually had over 12 million in orders. We cut that back to a 5 million raise as we wanted to make sure we kept our cap structure tight heading into this exploration program. In total, 48 million shares, 3 million options, and 6.2 million warrants. We believe this sets the company up with a lot of torque if we have any exploration success. As I mentioned before, our management team is heavily aligned, and we got a good mix of public company partners, institutional ownership, and over 52% retail investors. So I think that's allowed us to perform well out the gate. And I think now the whole point is just going out and making a discovery. That's what's going to move this stock. So we have 3 projects: Carlin East, Swift, and Salina projects. These are, I'd like to think it's a nice diversified exploration portfolio in the sense that Carlin East and Swift, 2 really exciting projects right in core positions on the trend, adjacent to some of the biggest mines in Nevada. But these projects are deeper exploration targets. We're going after high-grade underground gold, and sometimes it can take a while to make discoveries in these places. So what we've now done is we've offset some of that risk by picking up the Salina project, and it's showing it's a shallow oxide gold-silver prospect, and it's showing a lot of early stage excitement out of our drill programs this year. So I'm going to walk you through Swift first. We have an ongoing drill program there right now, and then we'll get into Salina and then Carlin East after that. So the Swift project, it's 51 square kilometers, and this is a district in its own right. It took us 2 years to consolidate this land position from various, we spun the original core package out of EMX royalty, and then consolidated the remaining 5,000 acres with a local rancher. So it's a high-grade underground gold target. We have 3,000 meters ongoing right now. And if you look to the image on the right, I just want to point out, I mean, we're directly on trend of some of the biggest mines currently producing in Nevada. So there's over 60 million ounces between the gold acres and pits over on this side. Pipeline, Cortez Hills, 4 Mile, etc. And if you look to the image on the left, we've done all of the soils, the geophysics, all that background work to advance this to a targeting position where we're now drilling holes 1 through 3 in the Cortez structural corridor. And that's directly adjacent to a historic hole, which is this red star, 99-5A. That hole hit 17 meters of 0.7 grams per ton gold in 1999 in the same host rocks that host the Pipeline Cortez Hills mines, and it never got a follow-up. And that got us excited about the project. If you look to this cross section here, what I really want to point out, we just finished hole number 1. We hit the right host rocks 200 meters shallower than the previous drill hole to intersect, which was 99-5A, which is right here. As we mentioned, that hole hit 17 meters of 0.7, never got a follow-up. What we're now doing is we've gone in, we've reinterpreted the structural model, and we're going to be testing all of these targets all through here with the hopes of intersecting shallower Carlin-type mineralization directly on trend of known mineralization. So we think that significantly de-risks the project. Now that we've hit the right host rocks, we're actually switching over to core starting this Friday, a core program instead of RC. So what the core allows us to do is gives us higher quality assay and structural data with these deep drill holes. So we want to be collecting the highest quality data that we can so that we can make a good a proper decision on how we're going to advance this project heading into 2021. But we're very excited about what we're seeing so far. It's the right host rocks. We are seeing alteration. Whether it has gold in it is up to the assay lab. So we'll have lots more information from this project coming over the next, call it 60 days. Heading on to Salina, this is 26 square kilometers. It's our smallest land package, oxide open pit gold silver target. We've already drilled 1,500 meters there this year. And we have another 1,500 meters planned in our phase 3 program starting in late October. So we're really excited about what we're seeing here. In the first 1,500 meters, we hit 29 meters of 1.26 grams per ton gold equivalent. We're getting really high silver grades. We're getting modest gold grades, but they are shallow and they are oxide. So we don't think we're in the core of the system yet. If we look to this image here, I recognize that it is kind of small. What I want to point out on this is green is our phase 1 drilling. The red dots are our phase 2 drilling. Phase 3, which is going to be in late October, is all of these gray dots. So we're going to be testing a much larger area now that we know what we're looking for. We believe that the red dots were just on the edge of the system, and we're going to be testing into the core of the gold system with phase 3, and we hope that we can expand on these previous results pretty significantly. So if you look across to the north, we're just going to show a quick cross section here, and you can see that we are hitting consistent gold grades in almost every hole. Oxide gold silver, we're getting up to 80% gold recovery, 74% silver based on our early cyanide shake tests. So very positive for the first 1,500 meters. And we're looking to expand on that, test this phase 3 target, which we believe is going to host potentially the core of the gold system. That's what the geochemistry, the structural model is suggesting for us. So we'll have more information on that coming probably mid to late November. We'll start having drill results coming out of that hole, out of that program. So Carlin East, this is a very strategic land position for us. It's 39 square kilometers in the North Carlin Trend, and it's directly adjacent to some of the biggest gold mines in Nevada. We're really excited. I think we raised most of our money as a private company, to be honest, based on this project. And what's really exciting for us is in 2019, we drilled C1901, which is this first red star right here. And we proved that the lower plate host rocks are only about 750, 790 meters down. Previously, old explorers from the 90s and early 2000s had thought it was 1,000 to 1,500 meters down, which is significant depth, right? But we were able to come in, we hit lower plate rocks at the same depth that Leeville and the Leeville mine is currently drilling the extensions of their known deposit. Barrick actually just put out a Q2 press release. And if you look down here, they actually have 2 drill rigs running directly on trend of our project on the same fault zone that cuts across our project. And in that general area, they released 21.3 meters of 35 grams per ton at 827 meters vertical depth. So this is right in our wheelhouse. They're now testing the extensions of their known deposit. We're on trend of that, and we want to better understand what they're drilling before we go out and drill ourselves. So we've actually deferred our drill program for 2020. It was only 1,000 meters. We've deferred that to the Salina and Swift programs, which are showing really exciting early stage results. And we're going to come back in early 2021, and we're going to put 3,000 meters into the Carlin East project to make sure that we test it thoroughly across multiple targets. So between the amount of activity going on over here, directly adjacent to our western boundary, 4 kilometers of strike on trend to our Carlin East project. We think that there's a lot of excitement coming at Carlin East, and we want to be patient and see how it all plays out. So heading into the end of the year, we have multiple project catalysts. One thing that I want to point out is our company's exploration thesis is focusing on systematic, science-driven exploration, which means if you were to look back over the last 2 years as a private company, all we were doing was collecting the data, building out our models, consolidating land positions, getting these projects ready to drill so that we did put a drill hole on it, we were putting it in the best possible spot. What we're now doing since going public in August of 2020, we're just drilling these projects with the 6,000 meter program. We're going to be doing a parallel program between Swift and Salina. We're actually going to be running a phase 3 RC program at Salina, and we're going to be running a phase 1 core program at Swift all at the same time. So we're definitely between rig to rig, but we expect our results to be coming out in mid to late November and extending all the way into December. Lots of potential drill catalysts from both projects, and I think there's a lot of diversity there between both an oxide and a deeper high grade project. So we think there's a lot more excitement to come, but we'll see what the drill bit brings. Now, I guess to end everything off, why invest in Ridgeline Minerals? We are fully funded to complete both our 2020 and 2021 exploration programs. We will end the year with about 4.5 million Canadian in the bank. Again, we're able to do that and operate on a shoestring budget because we're drilling for a fraction of the price of most of our competitors. We live down in Nevada. I'm the CEO. I'm also sitting a drill rig most days. So as I mentioned, we have a catalyst-rich fall, shareholder-friendly management, and I think a really exciting story. So if you're looking for exposure to gold in Nevada, I suggest you take a serious look at Ridgeline, and please contact me if any of you have any other additional questions. I'd be happy to follow up. Thank you.
Fantastic. That was great. Chad, thanks so much. And it was great that your internet connection held. So let's see if we can get a couple minutes of Q&A in as well, with you still being on the line.
Sure.
You said you're drilling quite a bit right now. And how many holes do you have in the lab right now? And when can we expect some news flow? Is there any are there any COVID delays or anything in that regard?
Well, you know, we actually, we currently have 2 holes in the lab right now. We'll have a lot more coming in over the next few weeks. We're starting to really ramp up our drilling. But what we did is we actually partnered with the lab a little bit in the sense that I actually prepaid for 3 months worth of assays ahead of time, which guaranteed us 3-week turnarounds. So right now you'll notice one of the biggest things going on in mining is lack of quick turnarounds with drilling, which is really hampering news flow and exploration. We kind of bit the bullet on that. We prepaid for those assays, and that put us to the top of the line kind of over the next 3 months. So you know, we're going to have about 15 holes going into the lab over the next 45 days, and I expect 3-week turnarounds on all that data.